from Matthew chapter 5, verse 11 to 20. Happy are you when people insult you and persecute you and tell all kinds of evil lies against you, because you are my followers. Be happy and glad, for a great reward is kept for you in heaven. This is how the prophets who lived before you were persecuted. Salt and light. You are like salt for all mankind. But if salt loses its saltiness, there is no way to make it salty again. It has become worthless, so it is thrown out and people trample on it. You are like light for the whole world. A city built on a hill cannot be hidden. No one lights a lamp and puts it under a bowl. Instead, he puts it on the lampstand, where it gives light for everyone in the house. In the same way, your light must shine before people, so that they will see the good things you do and praise your Father in heaven. Teaching about the law. Do not think that I have come to do away with the law of Moses and the teachings of the prophets. I've not come to do away with them, but to make their teachings come true. Remember that as long as heaven and earth last, not the least point nor the smallest detail of the law will be done away with, not until the end of all things. So then, whoever disobeys even the least important of the commandments and teaches others to do the same will be the least in the kingdom of heaven. On the other hand, whoever obeys the law and teaches others to do the same will be great in the kingdom of heaven. I tell you then that you will be able to enter the kingdom of heaven only if you are more faithful than the teachers of the law and the Pharisees in doing what God requires. This is the word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God. Hi. You're probably wondering why I'm working in my free time. Well, the master's reprimanded me. I took some shortcuts, and this to say he's not impressed. So I made this lampstand, this stand, and you can see I lathed it, and he's quite happy with that. He's quite happy with the shape. It's actually it's SA pine, but I thought I wanted to make it a little bit grander than that. So I stained it. I wanted it to look like mahogany. They said in the shop it was mahogany. And then I was going to varnish it and do that, Turns out, the master doesn't like stain or even varnish. He doesn't like veneer. He's not like that at all. He says, no, hang on. He says, he accepts it as a pine. That's fine. But he wants me to bring out the grain of the SA pine. And what he wants me to do, so I've got to sand it down now, and then what he wants me to do is to oil it. So that the oil's going to seep into the wood. And the wood's dry, by the way. It's dry. It's going to need an oil. And then the oil will transform the wood and bring it back to life. And bring out the beauty of the wood. But he wants to see the actual beauty of the wood. He's not into veneer. Not at all. Man. He says that if you give something to the poor and you're just making a show of it, it counts for nothing. I mean, if you're just putting on a show, just like a veneer, if it's not coming from the heart, it's just like an act, it's worth nothing. Or if you pray, maybe you stand, make a show of it, you stand on the street corner or something like that, and you do it just to impress other people, because that's what veneer does, it's just to impress other people. You thought it was mahogany, maybe, whatever. That's all you're going to do, is fool other people. So you're not going to fool him. Believe me, you're not going to fool him. Or if you fast, and you do it so as to impress other people about how spiritual you are, how religious you are, something like that, it doesn't cut it. It doesn't cut it with the master. Because he looks at the heart. And he wants to transform the heart. It doesn't matter if it's just you might think, well, hey, cool, man, Lord, I'm just like S.A. pine, and I'm not that impressive, I'm not mahogany. That doesn't matter. He wants to take our S.A. pine, standard heart, and oil it with his Spirit. Let his Spirit soak in and change it. He wants sincerity. He wants truth. Of course, there's part of there's a practical part of how this oil sort of does the transforming stuff. How the Spirit works in us. And one of the other apprentices, a guy called Paul, wrote about it. He said it's that our minds need to be transformed. Okay, go on. Okay, don't worry. Our minds are going to be transformed. So that just means get into the scriptures, read them, but let them sink deep. And act on them. But while we're acting on them, God is working in us, changing us, and He will change our hearts. And sooner or later, now you're going to go backwards, sorry. No, forward. No, forward.
One more.
No, backward. Backward. It's difficult working with that. So, no, there you go. Fruit of the Spirit. There you go. Sooner or later, because it's fruit, it just grows. It grows, it's organic, it happens from a well-oiled heart, it happens from a transformed heart. This wood will be transformed, it just happens. The goodness will come out, and the goodness in our lives looks like that. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. That's what it looks like. But it's not a veneer. He doesn't like veneers. He's looking for transformation, a transformed heart. Okay, now you can go back up to the light. Next one, up, there you go. So the Master says, that we are to let our light shine before others, so that they will see our good works and glorify the Father. So we are to let our light shine in front of others. In fact, he says, don't hide it like, in a box. Don't do that. Rather, put it on a lampstand, somewhere high up. So it really shines, so it's really visible. So that other people can see our good works. But these good works, it's not veneer, it's not an act, it's not pretend. It's flowing out of us because we transform, because it's the real wood. It's because it's love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, and self-control. It just comes out of us because we're changed by God, and God is in us, and He's changing us, and it becomes visible to other people. So we just live life normally, and that's what normal looks like for a faithful apprentice. And people will see that and notice that. And they won't say to us, gee, you're a good fellow. They'll say, glory to God. Because only He could have done that with Rory. So there you go. So let your light shine before others so that they'll see your good deeds and glorify the Father in heaven. The Master also talks about, he talks about salt and he talks about light. And I don't know, for me, I put quite a lot of salt on my food. I like the taste of salt. Why do you put salt on your food if you do? Taste as well. Pretty much a taste. Any other taste? Okay, so taste. So if we're going to be salt in the earth, well then we're going to need to be bringing out the taste of life. The good taste of life. Not just like the sort of commercialized taste of life. Like what the advertisers and the marketers say our lives should look like, the cars we should drive and the clothes we should wear, and all that. No, not that. But the true value of life. Love, joy, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, self-control. Did I mention that? So with the salt, and we bring out the taste of life. The joy, the peace, the love, the laughter, the fun of life. I've got some friends who make biltong, and they also use salt. They put salt on the meat. Do you know why they do that? Preserve it. So I guess what the Master is saying is, we that are preserving agent in society, because I don't know about you, but I think sometimes like society it's kind of corrupted. Like meat can go corrupt. But salt keeps it good. Salt keeps it true. Salt preserves the goodness in the meat. So maybe we also got to preserve that goodness in the meat. And then there's light. I wasn't sure why my car had headlights until it was dark. And I found them really useful to see the way. I guess that's what light does, it shows us the way. maybe we also called as light to show the world God's way, to shine God's lightness into the world's darkness. To let God shine His light through us into the world's darkness. I guess that's what he means. And then the Master also talks a lot about the law. I mean, that sounds so, but just like the right way to live. The right way to live. And just for convenience sake, I mean, just to summarize it, the Master kind of broke it all down to like two commandments. I don't know if you've heard that before. Maybe you've heard one. Can you help me with that one? Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and all your strength. The first one, and the next one is? Yeah, there you go. The next one is love your neighbor as yourself. There you go. You see that kind of summarizes the whole thing. So that's the kind of, when we're shining the light, that's kind of what we want to be shining. When we're salt, that's kind of what we want to be preserving. That's the taste we want to be bringing to the world. That. Now this is just my opinion. This is just my own idea. But I think in the culture that we live in, I think the big thing for the world out there is tolerance, to tolerate. And that's not a bad thing. I mean, tolerance is pretty cool. I mean, it means I'm an ardent Springbok supporter, but I will, with difficulty, tolerate an All Black supporter. Well, at least until the Tri-Nations. And that's a good thing, because it's like loving your neighbor, and it's a good thing, tolerance. Tolerating somebody who has different habits to me, different culture to me, that's a good thing. Tolerating differences in language, that's a good thing. Tolerating people who, are vegetarians, well, that's quite a good thing, because there's more meat for me to eat. But and that's good. But then and then tolerating a Hindu or a Muslim, that is also good. Giving them the freedom to be themselves and express themselves, that's good. Of course, that doesn't stop me from wanting to tell them about Jesus and bring them to Jesus. That's evangelism. But tolerance is good, to respect them and to allow them freedom to be who they choose to be. That's quite good. But there comes a tipping point somewhere. I think the tipping point is about here. It's about like when I say, you know what? I'm going to tolerate your corrupt practices. And I want you to tolerate mine. I'm going to turn a blind eye to what you do. You turn a blind eye to what I'm doing. I'm not going to criticize you, you don't criticize me. And that's not, do you think is that love sport? I'm not sure. Or, listen, you get on with your deviant sexual stuff. I'll turn a blind eye to that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into power politics and exploitation, and I don't want you to criticize me. Is that okay? Is that loving? It's not loving, yeah. But I think it happens in our culture. I do think it happens in our culture. See, I think in the culture, the dark culture that we must shine a light into, that we must be the light in there, that we've got to be salt there, that culture, when we stand up to that culture, do you think they might turn on us? Do you think they might? Jesus said, blessed are you when people persecute you. When they say all sorts of evil things about you because of me, because of him, because of his name, because we're shining a light for him, because we're salt for him. He said, we're blessed then. They treated the prophets just the same. So don't be surprised, there is a cost. But Jesus does want us to be salt. And he does want us to be light. And he doesn't like veneer.
Careful.
What we can do is to live Jesus, to speak Jesus into the darkness. Amen.